Quand on pense à CCM, on pense à Sidney Crosby, Carey Price, Connor McDavid et Kevin Poulin. Toutes ces personnes-là ont dû passer ici au Headquarter de CCM qui m'ont appelé. Ils veulent que je fasse un review de leur nouveau stock de gardiens de but. Fait que je vous amène avec moi behind the scenes et vous montrer le plus possible de l'équipement qui va sortir très bientôt. Je ne sais pas si encore c'est un secret ou quoi, mais je vais essayer de vous montrer le plus possible. On y va. Enchanté. Fait que, ben oui, je suis super excité là, de voir ça. Là.
On s'assoit ensemble. On va t'apporter le e-flex, tax, puis la collection 27 aussi.
OK, cool.
Comme ça, tu peux nous donner du feedback. Même entendre ce que les gardiens veulent et vont vouloir.
Je suis un peu old school dans comment j'aime mes affaires. Je sais que c'est rendu un peu différent, là, les setups et tout, mais...
Mais il y a des choses qui ne changent pas. Le gant là, reste que les gars aiment le old school. Là.
Moi, qu'est-ce que j'adorais, c'était la 5,80. Oui. C'était facile, puis il y a des gens, des gars qui aiment mieux aller avec leurs doigts que leurs paumes. Oui. Moi, j'ai jamais compris ça. Moi, j'ai toujours été la paume. L'autre jour, je me suis cogné, là, puis c'est à la même place que je suis pogné des pucks, puis j'ai encore le sentiment que quand j'ai froid, là, la moitié du doigt en haut, là, je sens plus rien. Okay.
Si vous voulez, on peut monter en haut.
Oui. Ben oui. Oh, ça.
Jesus.
Ça, c'est un game use?
Shooting you. McDavid, son graphique de son bâton.
Il veut pas le changer?
C'est dur à le changer.
Ah ouais?
Il veut rien savoir. Fait que là, on a réussi à le changer l'année passée. Puis là, on ne sait pas pour combien de temps qu'il va le garder. Mais tu sais, l'année passée, il y a eu...
Jusqu'à temps qu'il change.
Comme...
Jusqu'à temps qu'il change pour le Canadien Montréal.
Oui. C'est lui le big target.
Alors, mon trigger, ça, c'est quelque chose que j'aimais.
Puis on a changé aussi la shape du top shaft. Fait que ça pas une shape régulière.
OK, c'est comme rond. Ça, j'avais changé ça quand j'avais fracturé le poignet.
Fait que là, c'est peut-être une meilleure grip, une meilleure...
Ben, c'est parce que quand tu fais ça, c'est plus dur sur le poignet. Quand tu es plus petit, c'est plus facile.
La shape en V. Fait que la shape en V dans ton shaft, il faut justement...
Attends, qu'est-ce que tu veux dire en V?
Fait que mettons, tu as un shaft, mettons, on va dire traditionnel. Puis ça, c'est ta shape plus gros là, plus thin ici.
Ça c'est pourquoi?
Pour avoir une meilleure appréhension de ton bâton. Puis la grosse mode aussi, c'est les shoulders. Là. Fait que là, tu as peut-être des plus traditionnels, mettons, qui est plus droit.
Moi, qu'est-ce que je faisais? C'est d'un bord était différent de l'autre. Moi, dans le fond, j'avais scié ça, j'avais envoyé un bâton. C'était dedans, plus ça, c'était un petit peu différent. Non, moi, j'avais fait ça à mode, là, genre avec une scie. J'avais envoyé mon bâton, ils ont fait un moule. Puis après ça, ça a toujours été le même.
Fait que t'es-tu déjà venu à nos bureaux?
Oui, j'ai fait un événement là, for the woman.
Oui.
Mais en fait, c'est pas moi qui étais invité, c'était ma blonde. J'étais son plus un. Fait que là, c'est ça, j'allais dire à qui je me plains là.
Moi, mon nom c'est Martin Sibacker, je suis directeur de la division de gardien ici. Avec moi, c'est FO, François-Olivier Dagneau, qui est en charge du design côté gardien. Puis Matt Jenkins, qui est notre directeur de produit. I'll let you run through it. Basically, what I was thinking is go through from e-flex to tax and kind of where we're going next.
Yeah, even just before we look at product quickly, just to give you like an overarching, I'm sure you know some of this for sure, but we have two different families. So like one is a more flexible, more mobile family, that's the e-flex. Then we have a bit more stiff, typically straighter, but this year we've changed it a little bit. But for that more like confidence, structural, technique-driven goalie, and that's now what is tax, used to be axis. I think the biggest thing is that we want to differentiate between the two and want to serve the whole market. We don't want to just pigeonhole ourselves into like, we just make this gear and that's got to fit everyone. So I think that's kind of our design direction, is that we want to follow those two paths. As we develop both of those lines, we're almost seeing them converge a little bit, but there's still always going to be that divide between those two styles of goalies that we want to differentiate.
That's the one I used.
Yeah.
My last couple ones.
So I mean, you obviously know the ins and outs of it, but I'll just kind of present a few like key features. The big one on the eFlex 7 that we came out with, the most impactful, is the sliding surface. Surface being different from anything we use on the face. This just allows us to slide as fast or faster than any other pad on the market, and it also works really well on rough ice. That's a key like performance metric that we have, that it holds its slide for longer. On the newer one, we have a speed channel. So on the tax, you'll see there's a little like divot on the inside, and that's just to reduce friction on the sliding surface as well.
Yeah.
But on the eFlex 7 and on our new tax, we both have this surface. It's an instant impact, right? The minute you put it on, you're going to notice it. Like it's a change from eFlex 6 or anything. Typically, an eFlex 7 on a stock build is a tight fit versus we've done Axis in a looser fit. So just naturally, if the pad is the way it is on a shelf, like when you're buying it, this is going to be our tight fitting pad.
I remember I liked it when it was a little tighter, like not at the knee, but usually it's like the higher calf, like that portion. I love when it was tight there, so I could move around easily and get up, get my edges better. So my question, the inside is like a different material, or it's like the inside is harder, or?
Yeah, well, it's both actually. You're right. Redesign the inside edge to be as seamless as possible. So if you go back to previous pads, there was like more stitches, more seams. So we redesigned this part to be as flat and seamless as possible. And then obviously, like you said, we've added HD foam here on the top portion, so that kind of like overinflated tires versus deflated tires. You know, if you want more grip, you deflate your tires and they're sort of more grippy. Same principle here. We want to have like sort of very hard surface to reduce the coefficient of friction. So we've tested over, I don't know, 18, 20 different materials here in our lab downstairs through different testing, and we found that this was the best material, not only just in the lab, but on clean ice, on rough ice, every different conditions out there. This was our best material that we've ever tested, so we've implemented it.
Glove?
Yeah, well, just one quick thing to add too. Just the flex profile is different, obviously, right? So one has to move a little bit more than the other. The boot is soft, and then right from here to here, it just kind of bends as one almost. That's a big differentiator between the two, just when you look at them, you know, visually.
I was more of a flexibility kind of goalie. I like to move a little more. So yeah, no, I like it. Other thing at the braking at the ankle, what's the biggest difference between the eFlex and the
tax?
The tax, yeah.
They're getting closer to one another in terms of boot angle. There used to be a like you were talking about the Premier before, where the Premier had a very steep boot opening. Steep, that's not a trend anymore. We're seeing like goalies like to have either the pad resting on their foot, or like you said, a little bit up, but still at almost a 90-degree tab.
You guys are dealing with the most special breed of hockey too, so
yeah, there's always one athlete that wants something and you're like, oh boy, okay.
That's the fight ready, right?
Yeah.
This just feels so natural.
I mean, we kind of went back to our, I would say, roots a little bit with this. It is redesigned, there's a lot of modern features, but at the end of the day, like the 580 has been really popular for a long time.
When compared to what you would have used in the past, the big difference, we changed completely the strap. You know, before it used to be a strap that you would crank across the hand and then a wrist strap. So we sort of eliminated the wrist strap out of it and came up with this called the crossform strap, which is sort of designed to really cradle the back of your hand and push it as much as possible onto the break of the glove to give you as much stability as possible, but allowing you to really bend your wrist at the maximum as you know that you can.
So it gives more like freedom of the wrist.
Yeah, exactly.
But it still holds it pretty
locks
good.
It.
No, I like that. Nothing bad to say about it. I like the movement. Does it move up or it stay pretty like snug?
Yeah, I mean that's sort of inevitable, especially when you face like 90-mile-an-hour shot or stuff like that. There's going to be a little bit of movement.
This is adjustable as well. So.
Yeah. And in our stashed area, we've got the 2027 version of this strap. So we've had the feedback that it was sliding a bit over the course of a game, so we've reworked the strap to give it even more.
This
is the Tax Pro. So first thing you notice just by looking at it, the shape, the V shape. So what we wanted to do coming from where we were before in the Axis was stiff, but it was also fairly straight. That kind of closes us off a little bit to a lot of the market, because even though you might want a stiff pad, straight pads are just not that accessible. Like it's just, you have to play a certain style, you have to be more flexible, you have to, you know, be able to work with that pad, and it's not for everyone. It's still stiff, like pretty much top to bottom, but because of that shape, it gives you a little bit more closure on your 5-hole. You don't have to flare your feet out, and it just makes it have a little bit more like shape, even though it is stiff.
I forgot to mention on the other one, do you guys have different length of strap?
No, but they're adjustable.
They're adjustable?
So like it's velcroed into the knee block, so you can open the knee block.
Because I remember some guys like it a little looser, some guys like it a little bit more snug, and it was something like that. But yeah, it makes make sense, the adjustable part. You guys know what you're doing, huh?
Sometimes.
On paper.
People that have transitioned from E-Flex to tax, they've had to do a size change usually. Through, you know, having guys come here and come to the performance lab and try gear, and we're able to observe and look at what they're doing, we realize that a lot of times will be oversized in their pads. I want to name names, but a couple of pro guys are wearing pads that, you know, they want to optimize their coverage, so they're wearing the big pads, but really they should be dropping down you know, an inch.
Which team?
This is something that we started realizing with Carey Price. Big guy, right? And he was in the 33 pad. Maybe he knows something that others don't.
Thanks for inviting me. It was a pleasure to talk about gear. It's been a while too, so it's almost 3 years ago. Now it's a little different and some things are still the same.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci. C'est vraiment apprécié.
Merci.
Thank you.
Merci, Kevin.
Thank you. Ça, on a lancé ça vendredi passé. Fait que, mettons, dans les magasins, ils ont reçu leur stock.
Le stand,
Le
de même.
stand, le stock.
Tous les magasins, ça va être
C'est ce stand-là.
avec ce
Avec
graphique-là.
la
OK. Ah, c'est cool là-bas. OK, ça a changé. Ah, le fil est quand même pas pire.
Et cette courbe-là, mettons, était super populaire, mais tout le monde a voulu le vous carré. Fait qu'on l'a juste reproduit le vous carré, qui est la price d'anciennement, mettons.
Qu'est-ce qui fait en plus, la presse ou le Poulin?
D'après moi, c'est le même.
Non, non, elle était différente. Ça, je trouvais ça trop ouvert. Je pense que je m'avais fait une Poulin pour rien, mais ça se vend pas. Parce que là, sinon, tout le monde serait bon. C'est ça le secret.
C'est-tu
C'était-
Philippe ou c'est
Mais avant, c'est le contraire. Et comme, ah, c'est-tu ta sœur? Puis là, maintenant, c'est comme, ah, c'est...
C'est-tu ton frère? lui?
Ouais, c'est ça. Ah, merci de l'invitation.
Prochaine?
Ben oui, quand vous voulez.
All right.
Peut-être pas pour laisser sa glace, là, mais...
Merci beaucoup. Bon retour.
Ouais, toi aussi. Alright guys, on vient de finir le meeting. Ils nous ont montré plein de sets, des sets qui sortent en ce moment. J'ai des petits commentaires à faire, très constructifs toujours, mais je trouve qu'ils ont super bien innové. Et ils nous ont montré qu'est-ce qui allait sortir en 2027. On n'a pas tout pu vous montrer, mais je les ai essayés sur moi. C'est vraiment confortable, vraiment lightweight. Ils innovent beaucoup là, dans le gardien de but. Je pense qu'ils se lancent beaucoup là-dedans, là, aller chercher plus de gardiens de but. J'ai toujours été un bon fan là, de l'équipement CCM moi-même. Fait que ça m'a fait plaisir là, d'être venu ici avec eux. Abonnez-vous, likez la vidéo. J'ai plein d'idées en ce moment que ça s'en vient. Fait que suivez-moi. Je pense que vous allez beaucoup aimer ça. Let's go!